not sure if it's coming through live or not. Damn, I don't believe I did that, but oh well. All right, let's see. I'm checking to see if we are live. And we are live. Excellent. Let me bring up the actual live stream on YouTube. Make sure the audio is coming through. And it is. Okay, excellent. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Misfit Corner Comics. This is the artist known as Andrew speaking, and we are live streaming. Tonight is Wednesday night. This is the night I dedicate to doing some drawing. And I missed last week. Because I was I'm not going to go into all the details. I just wasn't able to make it. Oh, hey, Manuel, how's it going? He says, good evening, my friend Drew. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you coming in, Manuel. I've explained where I was in other live streams. It's not a big deal, but we're going to get to the meat of why we're here this evening. We're going to start drawing again. I did continue to draw, even though I didn't live stream last week, so I actually finished up the layouts for pages 7 and 8 of the Hawkeye story I'm working on. So I'm going to show those to you real quick. But we're done with all the penciling stage, which my pencils are usually a lot looser. They're not very tight. They're very loose. More or less, I just not black out, but block out where the images are, where the characters are, and any other things that I need to take account of in the drawing. So it's not really tight pencils. I've never really done tight pencils. So now we're going to start on the inking. And here, let me show you. Page 1 is currently taped to my board, since that's what we're going to work on tonight. This is page 2, which is ready to go. Page 3. Then we have page 4, which the entire middle panel is getting redone completely. I have another layout that I've already done it on. I'm not going to worry about it on the penciling stage because I was going to redo it anyway. Page 5. Page 6, which is actually a kind of cool page. This is one I actually put a little bit more detail in just because it's a splash page with a lot of action happening. So this is page 6. Now page 7 is where I run into a little bit of a problem. And that problem is page 7, the top panel shows Hawkeye being chased off the cliff by the wolves. And I drew the wolves a little bit smaller in that panel. Maybe we'll see it a little bit better here. And in other pages or other panels, they're huge compared to him, which technically they are. So I may have to resize him, maybe make him a little bit smaller, even though I like his size compared to them in this panel. But then, of course, you have him swinging up above them and then them down back on the ground or on the cliff. And then, of course, the last page, page 8, which introduces the character of Icky. And you see them flying away in the balloon on the last panel, and the wolves howling, to the sky because they missed out on their prey. But cool. So I did create a little video showcasing the layouts and the pencils, the first 2 steps of each page, and kind of put them all together. And oh, hey, Cross, how's it going? Cross says, hi, all. Welcome to the show, my friend. It's been a long time, man. Hope you're doing good. All right, so tonight we're gonna be inking, or we're gonna start inking page 1 of this story. And the whole idea of this entire process is to set aside time to continue working on this particular project. And normally what I do, and I've probably said this before, normally what I do when I'm working on pages is I do a page at a time, which means I lay out, pencil, ink a page, and then I move on to the next one. This time I wanted to pencil out, lay out, and pencil out all 8 pages of the story first before I started inking. kind of the idea of doing these live streams, as well as the sequential videos that will come, will be from start to finish the process of doing pages. So Cross says, I'm doing good. Got a room of myself and a job. Excellent, dude. Excellent. That's awesome. So glad to hear that. All right. I'm using OBS, and I know Rick's mentioned it before. He has some tips on that, and I haven't gotten a chance to get with him on it. But so I'm just reading the comments as they post on the live stream, so I don't have them to share on OBS because I don't even know if that's possible. I'm sure it is. I just don't know how to do it just yet. But I found OBS is kind of the best way to do this, where I'm flying solo by myself, and I can share my drawing table as well as talk to you guys directly. Okay, so let me do this. I don't know if the audio for this is going to come through, but this is a quick video I made which showcases the 8 pages, layout, and pencils, and hopefully it'll be cool. I will eventually just post it on the channel so people can see it. There is some background music in the video, but I'm not sure if it's going to come through or not. We'll find out. I'll go ahead and play it, and we'll see what happens. All right. And I did turn on the audio to the live stream, and the music was coming through. It was a little loud, but it still came through. Excellent. Great. So it worked out well. Okay, as you could see from my pages, I literally do a rough layout, and go right to pencils. Once I get the layout where I want it. Now, what I end up doing a lot of times is I'll redraw panels over again in a rough layout stage until it gets to where I like it, where it's where I want it to be. And then I will scan it in, and using Photoshop, just align it on the template that I've already created for my pages. And then once I get everything sized properly, I then will print out the layouts, put it on my light table, put a piece of paper down, and go to work on it. Okay? So that's usually how I keep it going, keep it clean, and keep it going forward. So rough layout is where we screw around with it until we figure it out. And then pencils is where we block it out. And then inks is where we get to have some fun. We get to go crazy on the page and do some stuff. So I'm going to switch this over to the sketching layout. I'm going to move my keyboard. Well, I'm going to move it over here so it's out of the way. It's still here in case I need it, but otherwise it's here. And this is the page we're going to work on. Now, the good things about doing the inking stage is, let me just move this down just slightly. Okay, the good thing about that is the image will become clear, because right now I'm not sure if you guys can see it very well, because it's kind of light. But as we get into the part where we're inking it, and it brings out all the image and so forth. But yeah, give me just 1 second. I need to bring up. All right. So what I was talking about before with that one panel, where it's only the second time that I actually drew Hawkeye and the wolves together in the same panel. It's mostly been them kind of going back and forth with each other. So size comparison. In the last image that you see of Hawkeye running away from the wolves, he's kind of like swinging through the trees and they're chasing behind him. So it's really hard to tell size wise how big they are compared to him. And in that one panel, it looks like he's maybe half their size, when actuality they're probably a lot bigger than him. So I may have to play with that panel a little bit. Like I said, probably make him a little smaller, maybe make them a little bit bigger. But needless to say, when we get to it, we'll work it out. All right, so this page is Hawkeye is running from the wolves. He's hiding from the wolves, and he's at a stopping point in the story where he's hiding behind a rock, and he needs to figure out a way to get away from them. But in the moment, he's hiding behind the rock, and they're coming, and they're getting really close to him. All right, so give me just a second. You know, I just realized in this image that I have of him, it doesn't. I don't have the all the details of his costume here. All right, well, that's why we look at these old images. That way we can see them and we know what we're doing. All right. Okay. So we're going to start with his face, of course, and his little nose. I hate to say it, this part is going to actually probably take the longest and be the most boring, because all it is me inking the page. And just going to add some detail. Not a lot of detail. I don't differ a lot from the actual pencils portions of this. So I'm just going to probably just play around with it just a little bit. I might add a little bit of detail in some areas, but mostly I'm just going to follow along my pencils because I'm pretty happy with the way the pencils came out. All right. That's funny. There's a line here that's drawn in pencil. This is when originally I had the bow behind him. I had decided to put it in his hand, which makes the next page, in which he's jumping and rolling and shooting an arrow, a little bit more easier to draw because of the fact that he's already got the bow in his hand. So I did try to save myself a little bit of time with that. Something I didn't realize when I was drawing this is that his eyebrows are actually black. I forgot that part. So his eyebrows will get colored in black. You can be a little loose with them. It's not a big deal. And then there's his cloak, which comes down. There we go. Some of these things, they don't have to be perfect. All right. Originally, he had, if I remember correctly, he had what am I trying to say? He had like a cross, like a string that runs across his chest to keep his cloak closed. And I don't know. I'm actually. What's so funny is I'm looking at the last image of him running from the wolves, and you don't see the string closing his costume. For some reason, I just didn't draw him in there. But that's okay. That's okay. So what we're doing is we're just adding a little bit of hatching lines for shadow and shade. And now, did I do it? Okay. So I'm looking at the last drawing that I did of him, which is the last time you see him in Hero Book 1. And I'm just making sure I draw the ears correctly. There we go. This is something else I forgot. The line that is down the middle of his little jacket jumper thing here is a double line. So that makes sense. There we go. And if I remember correctly, this is supposed to be the crossing goes like this. No, I know this is not like super vital to get this correct, but it's just something that's going to irritate me if I don't do it correctly. Alright. I think there, if I remember correctly, there were circles where like the holes were. Kind of like shoestring circles here. And then of course, there's the lines, the double lines. Okay, so far so good. Ah, you know what? I need to open up another image of him real quick, because I'm trying to remember the design of his clothing. We're introduced to him in chapter 3, if I remember correctly. And I'm trying to remember which page number he's in. Because, of course, I have a copy of the book around here somewhere. I just don't know exactly where it is. So, alright, it's before page 75. So I was just looking at, it's page 60. No, it's after it's between pages 60 and 75. It's somewhere in the middle there. Let's see here. I'm trying to get the image of him, the original image of him. Is it 66? No, it's after 66. Sorry guys, I know this is extremely boring and I should have been better prepared, but let's see, 74. Nope, that's further on. Alright, so 76, 77, let's see, 77 is the image where he's shown. And do I have it? I do have it. Let's see. Alright, there we go. Okay. I know this doesn't help. Oh wow, part of the costume is so much different. Alright. Actually, I didn't do the cross. I didn't do that in that page. I gotta go back. I gotta go back to when he originally shows up. Oh goodness gracious. It's best to find these mistakes now. Not that it's a huge mistake, but let me look at page 56. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. All right, let's go to. Well, my problem is I'm looking at my redone files. I know this is boring as hell, guys. I am so sorry. And okay, that's 75. Why do these pages seem out of order? Let's see. Let's do icon pages. That might be easier to see. Sorry guys, I know this is boring as heck, and I should have had the references more readily available. I swore he had a cross thing, because if not, I'm going to have to change that. That's going to drive me crazy. But that's okay. That's before this. It's here. Here we go. Here we go. Page 71 was the first time you see him, and crimey, I didn't put the cross, I can take those. I don't have to use those. All right, well. All right. It's so in the design I did in the actual finished piece, he doesn't have the cross pieces, which actually is okay with me because that tends to be a horrible design. Originally, it's like maybe a zipper thing, but cry me. All right, so I'm gonna have to either digitally remove that or white out it or whatever. But it would always be very helpful when you are drawing your characters to actually look at the characters, just so you know that what you're drawing is correct. You know, you can't always remember every single design flaw or design thing you do on your characters. Um, you know, they're your babies, but sometimes you forget. And that is what happened to me this evening. I forgot part of his design, which sucks because now I'm going to have to fix that, but that's okay. We will pick it up further down, and his pads, his like shoulder pad things, actually only come out about to here. I originally thought they were larger, but I guess they weren't. Let's see. File, open, page 70. 70 is the other one I need to look at. Yeah, Hawkeye appears for the first time in... Yep, I didn't do the cross. Damn, I really thought I did. I guess I forgot all about them. Well, you know what? That's all right. That's actually... that 60, page 69. I know this sounds horrible, but it's almost like this gives me an opportunity to go back in the original pages and tweak it a little bit. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. All right. All right. So, in other words, we will clean up that little design mistake later on. All right. And then we're going to draw his belt, which did have multiple pieces here. All right. He had a belt buckle. It came like this. Now the funny thing is that when you design a character, it's your character, you know. The way he's drawn, the way he's designed, that's completely up to you. And that means if you make a mistake, you could always say, "No, that's I intended to do it that way. I intended to draw it like that." You know? I know that's kind of a cop out, but technically it's true. If this is your character, you designed him, and this is how you draw him, then you can't really do it wrong if you. All right. Cross knows what I'm talking about. All right. Cross has designed and created many of his own characters. All right. Actually, you know what? In the original drawing of him, his ears were much, much more pointy. Huh. There was a lot more pointier. Well, that's all right. That's what happens when you draw the character, when you haven't drawn the character in a long, long time. All right. This actually goes down here. All right, and I have to draw him with one arrow, because at this point in the story, that's all he has left is one arrow. All right. Let's see here. All right. What's so funny is I'm looking at like one of the original drawings of him, and I can already tell differences in how I draw him nowadays, or how he's drawn nowadays, from that original drawing. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's probably going to annoy me a little bit, because I do draw him slightly differently, and that's just a personal. You know, my art has changed a little bit since I originally drew him, or since I originally designed him. So, but that's all right. We will forgive ourselves. And this is it's. I know this doesn't mean anything to anybody here, but this is one of the characters that his claws on his feet are present. You know, you see them. Whereas I have other characters who have claws on their feet, but you don't ever see them. All right. And then, of course, his tail. I have to remember exactly. Okay. I think there's some debate in my mind on actually how long his tail is. But that's okay. This will work out. And I have to do just a little quick view. All right. I guess this is something I forgot about him. He has these gloves that he wears. They're big black gloves, but they only go as far as his wrists. And then he has, is it on the inside? It's on the inside. So if he has his arm like this, okay, just making sure you're not going to see that. Okay. All right, and he has what appears to be like his hands are wrapped. I do that on some characters just simply to give them something on their hands. I'm not drawing every single finger for this particular image. That'll work. All right. So, how bad did we screw this image up? Since we haven't drawn him in such a long time. Alright, let's do a little bit of... Yeah, I'm going to have to completely redo that. I'll probably just white it out because there's nothing here that needs to be done. But then we're going to have... Do I want to do the shadow? Do I want to ink the shadow? Or do I... Yeah, I think I do. Because this is the shadow behind him, because he's sitting close to the rock, but he's not, leaning fully against it. So we're going to add a little bit of shadow in here. And the best part about doing like a hatching shadow like this is if you make a mistake, it can help to hide your mistake. All right. All right. All right, very good, very good, very good. Now, so the tools that I use here, this is the Omniball pen. This one is great for the darker lines, the thicker lines. And let me see here. And we're going to close that. And for the purpose of this drawing, we're okay with just using this. We're going to blacken his eyes. Okay. Now, get out the trusty little eraser. Do a little bit of cleanup, just so we can see where we are and what we're doing here. Like I said, I gotta fix this problem where I screwed it up myself in his design, but that's alright. Actually, this is gonna make me happy in the long run, because drawing all those... Ooh, whoops, just realized I missed a line. This is one of the problems with inking, is sometimes you miss stuff. And in this case, I missed a whole line. Alright, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit and take a closer look at it and see where we stand. Now I'm going to add some foreground foliage that'll probably cover up some other stuff. Like you see, I've indicated there's some stuff here. Oh, I forgot about his bow. Yeah, we're going to draw that as well. Alright. And his gloves, which are black, we can fill that in later. That's not a big deal. I'm considering doing a watercolor wash because I'm not going to do full zip tones or grayscale on this, or at least I don't think I am. I was going to try to keep it simple, keep it just straight black and white, but then again, sometimes I can't help myself. Sometimes I need to go crazy. Like the background probably will have watercolor wash in it, some gray tone wash in it, just simply because a lot of the pages that I did with his story in it had the watercolor washes in the backgrounds for the leaves and so forth. So, and I may add some to the character as well. We'll see. Hey, Screwing with Scammers says, I don't know why I always forget about this Wednesday show. Well, that's okay. It doesn't help that I forgot last week or wasn't able to last week. So, all right. Off topic. Screwing with Scammers. I had emailed you and Glenn to tell you that the guys, the scammers for the I'm Your Son and I'm in Jail, actually called back and tried it again. I had such a great time screwing with them. We'll see how that goes. It was at one point they told me, you know, you need this amount, you need to get this amount of money, and then I was supposed to call them back, and I kind of got busy and didn't call them back really in really a timely manner. So I'm assuming they think I completely forgot about it. But I did call them back this morning, and I'm like, hey, I haven't heard from my daughter. Where is she at? I'm just having fun with it, but all right. So what's so funny is I drew his bow at one point on one of the pages, and I've kind of like cut out the layout for the bow, and then superimposed it over my sketches, so that I kind of keep it looking the same, and it's really freaking weird, you know. But that's all right. I'm not 100% sure if I will digitally add the line, the bowstring, or not. Um, if I remember correctly, there were some knots. This one right here was a knot. And was there another knot in here? Yeah, there was. This was a... I'm just trying to mark these so that I remember to, because I'll use a different type of pen when I get to the inking part of this. I mean, when I go into, actually, freaking hey, I'll just grab the pen. So the next pen I like to use when doing this is the Ultra Fine Point Sharpie. And I know I keep sticking my head in front of the camera. I'm going to try not to do that, but it happens so often. The next pen I use is the Ultra Thin Sharpie. I use that for outlining. And another good thing about doing that I have found is it helps. It's also another way of helping to hide mistakes that you've done. Like there's been a couple places where I made a few mistakes, and this gives me an opportunity to hide those. And that's going to be all black anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Inking is a lot about hiding your mistakes. I'm pretty sure there's a famous artist out there somewhere that said that. Inking is a way to hide your mistakes. Alright. Now, like I said before, I will probably do some foliage in the front of him, which I'll just cover up with black ink. It's not a big deal. So there'll be a little bit more depth to this image when I add a foreground stuff to it. Like right now, there's like he's not standing on anything. That's because I'm going to add that all later. It's a matter of just getting him in the right position for what I'm trying to do here. And then, of course, I will add to it as I go along. And, you know, some artists like to fill in every single detail. Not me. I'm very, when it comes to my pages, sometimes I'm a little free, and sometimes you can tell, and sometimes it's a bad thing. But you know what? I allow myself, when necessary, to be sloppy. because sometimes that adding something that looks a little sloppy ends up actually helping the image, because it looks a little bit more freer. All right. Maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense, but trust me, to me it makes lots of sense. All right. Actually, the bow, I will actually fill in some of the details with a thicker pen, just to make it stand out a little bit more, because it's supposed to be a little bit rougher design wise. It's not clean as a single line, just because it's supposed to look like a piece of wood. It's what am I trying to say? It's like a root, like it was made from a root. So it's supposed to be a little bit more dirty. And you'll notice that as I'm doing this, there, you may be able to see it, but there's like some pencil smudges from the pencils running, smudging. But that's okay. That's fine. That actually adds a little character to the page. I'm not worried about it right now. I don't have to be, what I was trying to say before is, I don't have to be super clean when it comes to the pages, you know? I'm really pissed that I didn't confirm that before I started drawing it, and now I got to remove it. Do I even have a whiteout pen here? I don't even think I have a whiteout pen anywhere in here. Sharpie. I might have one on my drawing table, but that's all right. All right. Oh, Manuel says I hit the like button. Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And Screwing Scammer says hit the like button. Yeah. I hope those scammers call me. Hey, you know what? I could give you, Roger, I could give you their telephone number. I don't know if I called it this morning. I left the guy a message. So he hasn't disconnected his number yet. Okay, so let me just tell you part of the story, because since we're not talking about scam stuff and nobody's paying attention. I, at one point, asked the guy, I said, hey, my brother-in-law is a cop. Maybe he can help me with this situation, my daughter being in jail. And the guy was like, oh, well, he can't. He's in a different state. I said, no, he's not. He's in this state. He says, well, he can't help. It's a different district. I said, okay, that's fine. But I said, I might call my brother-in-law and see if he can help her with this situation. What I could do is give you the number and have you call it and tell him you're my brother-in-law. Say, hey, I'm a police officer here in town, and I'm well, actually, you wouldn't be calling from Florida, so we might still screw it. This eraser is falling apart every time I use it. It's horrible. I haven't used one of these in a long time. I guess I'm being a little too rough with them. If you want to call him, you can call him. He says, I see you're illustrating a children's book that I wrote because can't draw anything but stick figures. Send it over. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll share it with you. As long as the number's still live, it might be worth messing around with, But all right. This is the first step. This is the first part of doing the inking, and I'm looking forward to when I get to the background, because the background can get a little bit more sloppier, can get a little bit more crazier, and that's always fun when you get to go crazy on a drawing. And being the first page of the story, usually you want it to be, popping out, eye-catching. So I can use a lot of different techniques on it. There's going to be hatching. I about ready to say hashtagging. It's not hashtagging. There'll be a lot of hatching in there. There'll be some watercolor wash throughout. We're going to add a lot to it. We're going to make this page is actually going to stand out really well. The one difficult part that I realized, and I'll show it to you again, is there's 3 wolves that are chasing him. You see one big face here, one face here, and then that's it. So I got to figure out a way to put another wolf in here, like in this area. But I'm getting very, very close to the no-go zone for printing, which means if I put his face closer to here, part of it will actually be cropped out because I draw bigger than the actual print page. So what will either end up happening is I'll have to put him, maybe just do a silhouette here, implying another character without putting any detail in it, or when I'm done with the page, I'll have to shrink it down for the template, which might take some away from it. So I'll still have to figure it out, but I have to put a third wolf in here somewhere. For some reason, I thought he would go in this corner, but honestly, there's more room over here. So, yeah. Dilemmas, real life dilemmas. So, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up now. I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with me and watching as this process happens. My plan is when this is totally done, all 8 pages, all the way done, all the way to the lettering and so forth, when it's ready, when the pages are print ready, I'm going to create one video that is like a speed video of the layout, then switching to pencils, then doing the inks, and having one whole video showing the process from start to finish of all 8 pages. I think that would actually be really, really cool. So doing the live stream helps in the fact that it documents the process of me doing stuff, and I enjoy the fact that I get to share the time with you guys. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. I'm getting a little tired. It's been a long day. I know Roger's probably gotten a lot of scam calls today because yesterday was insane. Over 50 calls yesterday, which was crazy. But hope everything's going good with everybody. I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday's show over at Roger's channel, Screwing with Scammers, where we sit around and talk about scam calls and cats and dogs and all those other fun things we have in our life. I usually can't stay very long because we do the Nerd Den Friday nights as well. But I'll definitely join Roger for a little bit and just check in, see how everything's going. Manuel, once again, thank you so much for joining. Rick, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad things are going well. We need to talk again soon. We should chit chat about whatever. But I appreciate you all coming in, and I'll check you guys out next time. Thanks a lot, guys.